Hey, welcome to Marriage Monthly. We are Gabe and Melissa Kolstad, and we love to build healthy, lifelong marriages. That's what we're passionate about.
Very.
We are excited that you're joining us for this monthly installment of hopefully inspiration, ideas, and fun that will help build your marriage. And so we're going to jump into today's episode. Here we go. We're talking this month about how to get closer this Christmas. Thanks for joining us for this monthly installment of hopefully Marriage Booster for you. We want to talk about this month, like how it's weird that during Christmas, a lot of people end up further away from each other. A lot of couples end up further away from each other.
It's such a busy time.
Afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But shouldn't it be like the opposite? We should feel closer together.
Yeah, coming together, doing memories and fun stuff.
Right.
And the schedule
However,
takes over.
it doesn't always work like that because there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of busyness. There's a lot of money going out. There's, things that we're worried about. So we're going to talk about how instead, let's grow closer together this Christmas. I want to talk a little bit about commercialism versus Christ. Okay, because Christmas is all about Christ,
right.
But it turns out that in reality, it becomes all about commercialism.
Absolutely.
Or what we can buy, what we can have, what we can do, and we probably could rearrange that. We're going to talk about how exactly we could do that. But think for yourself for just a second on what is Christmas to you, and what are you tempted to make it? Because it might be that you're drawn to cave into the pressure of our society and all the media and all the external things that are happening. And so let's keep Christmas about Christ. That's actually going to bring us closer to one another. I want to read real quick before Melissa jumps in with some really helpful things. And read the 2 verses from Luke chapter 2. I love this. It's Luke 2, 6 and 7. And it says this. It says, "And while they were there, the time came for her baby to be born." That's Mary, obviously. "She gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no lodging available for them." And as we were even this week thinking more about the Christmas story, several things really stood out to me. I love the simplicity of it. I mean, those two, Joseph and Mary, were so focused on just the very core things. It was very simple. And I don't know if you feel like this, but I do. In life, it seems like we're drawn toward complexity. We're pulled toward it. We don't want to be, but we're pulled toward complexity. And I just want more simplicity in my life. And it was simplicity all the way for them. The other thing they had was wonder. And just this sense of wonder, like, wow, God is working and He's at work in us. They had a sense of God's provision in their life, really waiting on every moment by moment. In their case, where are we going to stay tonight? How's this going to work out? Who's going to help us? Where are we going to get provision from?
I would have been
very
so scared.
much wonder and a sense of God's provision, and then total surrender. Like, we will follow what God puts in our path. And man, that is hard right now in our culture and in our day and age, I think.
We like to make our path.
Oh, don't we? Oh my gosh.
Not surrender to the
so
Lord's
true.
path.
And then the last was togetherness. When I look at their story, I'm like, man, they were together. They were like, hey, we're in this together. Whatever
unified.
comes our way, we're going to figure it out. So when you think about Christmas, remember back to the very first Christmas, what it was actually all about. And it was about coming closer together. So, Melissa.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make a couple points here. And one of them is that keep your routine strong but flexible. During this time, it can get so insanely busy. And we do a lot of fun stuff during Christmas, I'm not going to lie. And I love the traditions. So, go see those Christmas lights, go to church, read Luke 2, eat with your family, shop, do all this stuff. Chop down that tree, do your baking cookie exchanges, all of the fun stuff. But don't squeeze out God during this time. I think a lot of times He is the afterthought. We show up on Christmas morning, we're like, hey, let's read Luke 2, or let's pray before our meal. And that's pretty much it. And maybe we'll go to a Christmas service, which I highly recommend.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like an afterthought. Christ is kind of like, okay, yes, this is about Christmas. This is about Christ. This really is. But we're going to do everything else. We're going to make the longest Christmas list we can possibly come up with of stuff that we want to get because we can't function without all of our stuff. And we just take away from everything. I felt guilty this year writing a Christmas list. And it's funny because I want to get people what they want. And I love that aspect of giving people what they want for Christmas.
Yeah.
And our family does a Christmas exchange. We do the whole thing. We're all about the Christmas thing. But I was thinking about that this year. I'm like, oh, why is it all about stuff? I spend so much money on Christmas gifts. I'm not going to lie. And I do all the Christmas shopping, so I know how much we spend.
She does. I'm so thankful.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, wow, personally, I can get so caught up in everything else that I completely disregard Christ in Christmas. And I don't make the time I need for him during that stuff. So I want to encourage you to stay focused on Christ during all the fun things. Make sure the center is Jesus Christ and he came for us. Another thing is don't let pointless things squeeze out your time together as a couple. This is a big deal. Most people don't have time for a date night or don't have time to go get coffee together or dessert together from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve because there's too much other stuff going on.
It's like in the name of family time, we have no family time.
We have no family
right?
time,
Yeah.
or at least no together couple time,
Right.
Which I think is detrimental because you need to have those conversations, especially during this time. What's your schedule look like? What are we spending money on? Like you have to be having those conversations, but
Absolutely.
you're not because it's like we're too busy to have the conversations. So one of those things. So keep those date nights, do that kind of stuff. Also take time for yourself and for each other. Don't forget. I mean, like go get that foot massage together. Go get that cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory together. Like go
Hey,
do
we did
those
both
things.
of those recently.
I know. That's why I brought them
I
up.
think it was on
but
the same day. That was that was a good day.
That was a good day. Yeah, that was last Monday. That was a good day. But take time for yourself. Date, rest, just have fun this season, but don't go so extreme that you squeeze out each other, you squeeze out Christ. It's really important. And keep your spiritual practices in place during this season. Mm-hmm. Jesus is the reason for the season. That's like a thing. And it's a funny thing to say, but it's true. So, go to the Christmas services, give, serve. Gabe's going to talk a little bit more about that, but keep those practices in place during this next month.
Absolutely. I think the second thing we can focus on is on giving, not getting. And, we try to teach our kids this. We all want our kids to be more interested in giving than getting, although, I don't know that adults are. But a couple practical ways to shift your passion and your priority toward giving over getting, I think, is that we got to put our soul into it. We got to put some skin in the game, so to speak. And so here's a couple of practical ways is to include some others in your Christmas. Like as an example, maybe you could adopt a family to give some gifts to. And just thinking about some others, especially if you get your kids involved in this, if you have kids, or get some of your family involved in this, is thinking about, well, here's maybe an angel tree or maybe some other way of adopting a family where you can say, look, there's people that don't actually have the ability to have even a Christmas tree. I mean, our church got involved, some people from our church got involved in giving some Christmas trees out to others. It was so motivating because they're going like, oh my gosh, can you imagine not having the ability to put up a Christmas tree and somebody gives you a Christmas tree? That's pretty powerful thing.
Yeah.
So just including other people in your Christmas, also including people who don't have friends and family in the area that you live in. Some people are lonely this season and maybe they need a place to have dinner or just to even hang out a night or two during the Christmas season. But, adopt a family to bless, give to your local church or to a charity. I mean, like our church is doing a big Christmas offering and we're doing things outside our walls, trying to bless this community and around the world.
Yeah.
And, it's important to connect yourself to something beyond yourself. I think that's the important thing. It's not just about, adding more toys to your list or adding more dollars to your bank account, but it's about how do we bless others in this whole transaction.
It's all about it's a giving holiday.
It's a giving
That's
holiday.
The whole point of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would encourage you also to get involved in serving the underserved. Maybe there's a real tangible opportunity for you to do something like deliver a Christmas meal to somebody or serve homeless people who don't have a warm meal, but give them a warm meal. Things like that can be really powerful. Maybe schools in your area that could use some extra help this time of year in serving their underserved families. If you go to the principals of your schools and ask the question, how can we help this Christmas? You'll get an answer. And it'll be probably bigger than you expect. There'll be opportunities for you to help out. And I think that's really important. Yeah. One of the things that we're doing through our Christmas offering is we're taking nominations for underserved organizations in our community that are making a difference. And it's been really fun to hear from people about, wow, here's somebody who's doing something great and we could come alongside them and make a difference. Another thing we can do is set a limit. This is going to be tough, though, especially for those helicopter parents who are listening right now. It's going to be tough for you to think about setting a limit for how much you'll spend on your kids or on each other, because don't we want to go over and above? Don't we want to be like, hey, I gave the biggest Christmas gift in the history of marriages to my spouse. But what if you were to set a limit on the money you would spend for Christmas gifts so that you would have margin to help other people or to bless other causes that are outside of yourselves? I think that's an important thing.
I think that we as American families spend way too much money on Christmas gifts.
We spend a lot.
And even like I know certain families that will spend $300 on each child. And I think, why?
Yeah.
No kid needs that much.
We spend $3 on each child.
$3 on each child.
Whether they need it or not. That's what we do. No, but but the truth is that there should be a limit, you know, and obviously everybody's income is different, so it's got to be within your income. But set a limit so that you're not going overboard for what your means are, and you have some margin to help other people. I think that's the big important point. And one of the things that Melissa's a big advocate of is make the gifts, rather than just about things, what if we transitioned a little bit to experiences? So it's not just, hey, here's a new piece of technology, or hey, here's a new gadget or thing, but what about an experience together? And that can be something that brings us all together a little bit more. So I think I've always appreciated her emphasis on experiences over things. So that's my bit.
If you've listened to Marriage Monthly for very many months now, you know that to be true, because I'm always coming up with, this is what I think you need to do for fun. So, of course, I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So start with some new fun traditions. And I was thinking about this. We did this poll on Facebook.
Yeah.
Gabe did a poll on his Facebook 2 weeks ago, something like that. I can't remember. And you guys came up with some really cool stuff. And one of the things that we thought was cool that we were just talking about randomly was in Mexico, they have like this bread or cake thing, and they hide...
It's a cake.
Yeah, and they hide a little plastic baby Jesus inside.
Which seems like a hazard.
Yeah, well, they know what they're looking for, though.
Yeah.
So then as they're cutting up the cake and handing it out to everybody, whoever receives the baby Jesus is like king for the day or whatever, or queen for the day, I suppose. And then they're blessed. And so it's just kind of a cute little tradition. I thought that was fun. Some of you had talked about birthday cakes for Jesus. You make cakes and you sing happy birthday to Jesus. I think that's super cute. I know a lot of friends do the Elf on the Shelf. We've never done that, but I think it's a cute idea. Also, we do movie nights. Like, we like Christmas movie nights. We just watched Elf the other day because that's like our top favorite. But we also like Christmas Vacation and Four Christmases. But did you know there's is it an app? It's called PureFlix.
It's a company called PureFlix.
They do Christ-based Christmas movies, and they actually do Christ-based movies year-round. But they have Christmas movies, too. So check out PureFlix. I think that'd be really cool, too. People set out their nativity sets, Christmas music, of course. They deliver food. They deliver Christmas trees. One of our gals that has 4 kiddos says she focuses on Christmas experiences over gifts. And I say, bravo, girl, because I think that's smart. Also, just helping others and reviewing. One person said they review the year and thank God for how God has blessed them on Christmas Day. I thought, wow, that was really, really good. So cool ideas. Also, find a new way to focus on Jesus this Christmas. So read Luke 2 if you don't on Christmas morning. That's something we do every Christmas, and I think it's nice. My dad reads it, and then Gabe usually reads it with his family, and I just think it's special to read through that and just remember what Jesus did, how he showed up for us as an innocent child. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Pray and thank God for coming to earth and for the coming year. Serve someone in need. Gabe talked about that. Reach out to someone lonely. Shoot a text or a call to someone that maybe is alone. Give a meal in Jesus' name. This happens a lot in the Bible. I think it's really special. Something that our friend April said, that they put out the nativity set during the Christmas holidays, and then on Christmas Day, they put baby Jesus in.
Isn't that great?
I love that. I think that's so cute. So put baby Jesus in there. And then, of course, come to Christmas Eve services. Go to Christmas Eve services somewhere. If you're here in Portland area, come to Westside. We're doing Christmas services at 5 and 6:30 on Christmas Eve. But super fun to just make Christ the center of this holiday. He is the reason. He is why we are here. And so we want to focus on the sacrifice he made, and he came as an innocent baby at this time. And this is our time to celebrate that. So spend time together as a couple, as a family, and then focus on Christ this season. Try not to get so consumed with all the consumerism. And I know I'm the Christmas shopper, how easy it is. But I'm really thinking and focusing on Christ this Christmas because he is the reason.
Absolutely. And you think about December 26th. Could you be closer together then than you are right now? And yes, if you'll do some of these things, if you'll focus on the relationship aspect, first of all with God, secondly with each other, then you'll be closer on the 26th than you are right now. And that'll be a great blessing because going into the new year, we'll be stronger. So
That's right.
We are grateful for having you here with us on Marriage Monthly. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our podcast here and maybe share it with 3 friends that you know that might be looking for some marriage inspiration and hope and help. And also, we'd encourage you at any point to check out westsidecommunitychurch.com. That's the church we serve. We're so passionate about being here in the Portland, Oregon area, and we'd love to connect with you there. So thanks a lot for joining us. We hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of Marriage Monthly. We want to ask you if you would subscribe to this podcast and share it with 3 people that you know that might also enjoy this content, and it might help build their marriage. We are passionate about building healthy, lifelong marriages, and we want to thank you for being part of this podcast.